Hello everybody and welcome back to Soul Studios. I'm your host Soul, and today we are veering off the path of warrior cats and going and talking about Dungeons and Dragons. This topic was voted on in my weekly poll. By the time that this video is out, you have one more day left to go vote on the video after this one, and then the next poll will be released on Wednesdays. I release this poll every Wednesday, so go subscribe to the channel and then vote on whatever topic makes you happy. But anyway, let's get right to the video. Dungeons and Dragons. For those of you who live under a rock, this is a role-playing game that has become a lot more popular in recent years. As a child, I didn't really know what Dungeons and Dragons was, and when I did ever hear about it or ask about it, I was told it was not a good game and that I shouldn't play it. There was a lot of bad stuff that could happen. It was like a really bad influence. The first time I was ever shown it was by my best friend. I forget when. I think it was at a library, and they talked about it constantly. Well, not constantly, but it was an event that they did. There was a youth, D&D event that they did. And so that was the first time I ever really heard of it in a positive light. A little bit after that, I'm sorry for the pauses in this video. We're not scripted. For once, we're not scripted. I'm not scripted. And my videos have a very different pacing when I'm not scripted because I have to think up things on the spot. I know what I want to talk about, but I haven't quite figured out the wording of it. I love non-scripted videos. Anyway, the next time I was shown D&D was my boyfriend has a D&D group. We started dating in 2024, New Year's of 2024, best anniversary date ever. If you ever want to date someone, get with them on New Year's, and then your anniversary will be the easiest thing ever to remember, and keeping track of how long you've been together will be easy, and whatever. But he has a D&D group, and that was the first time I actually really saw D&D actually being played, in a sense. Now, I will go ahead and say, yes, my boyfriend's D&D group, our D&D group that we host in our house, is not for children, and there is some bad influence in there, but it's also a fun time. It's a really good way to spend time with friends. Slowly, my family has started, because there's so much control in D&D. There's so much you can do whatever you want, and you can set up rules however you want, and playing with different people yields different results. You can play with a group that is going to cuss and do some really funky stuff. You can play with a group who's just going to be silly, and they're going to be very wholesome and family friendly. That's what my family's D&D group is like. So I will always say that Dungeons and Dragons is just a very mixed experience, and it all depends on who you play with and what. Now, I'm not saying that our house D&D group versus my parents' D&D group, there's no bad things in between them. I enjoy the D&D party we host in our house. My boyfriend PT is the DM, and he does a great job, and it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of laughs, and I absolutely love it. I love my parents' D&D group. I like playing with my siblings. I like spending that family time together. Dungeons and Dragons is such a varied experience that if you had a bad experience once, I would definitely say try again with a new set of people, because there's so many things that can change between who you're playing with, who's DMing. DMing stands for Dungeon Master, by the way, again, for those living under a rock. I have made 3 D&D character concepts that I really liked. The first one I ever made, I forget her name now, but she was based off an Enderman. This was at a time where I was really into the Dream SMP and Rambu, and specifically, who was half Enderman and half something else. My Dream SMP fans will know about that. I really like the idea of a character being based off a species like a Minecraft mob, and I really like Endermans overall. I have a huge Enderman sticker on my PS5. I just really like them. They're silly little guys, and I love them. So I made a character based off that, and she ended up being less like an Enderman that I would have liked. I still love her as a character, and I still have her as a character. I just never actually put her into D&D because at the time I didn't have a D&D party and I was just goofing around. But she's really cool. She's like a sorceress. I don't know, I guess an Enderman would be her species, and I'm sure I can find a page somewhere. Someone has built up a race from D&D to match the Enderman. She's really neat. I actually wrote like a little short story for her that I never really talk about. But in that, she's like a hermit. She lives by herself, but then her entire forest gets burned down and she has to actually socialize and find out who did it. And it was really cool. I'll have to talk about it sometime. The second character concept I ever came up with, her name was Tenebris Amatus, which, hilariously enough, and I don't think I have the sheet around me, I'm pretty sure her name, it means something not great. It's something in Latin, something about shadows or darkness, but in her backstory, her parents, like her family rejects her because of her outward appearance and how she looks. She doesn't match them at all, and this is just because of some kind of genetic mutation. She's human. She's a human, and she was just born into this family that looked one way, and she happened to look another, and they were very not okay with that. And that's the themes of her story. She's a blacksmith, and she also ties in with a couple other characters I've made before. I also would like to say that almost any character you've ever created could probably be made into a D&D character. I have a character named Nilomi, who is not made for D&D, but if I ever wanted to put her in there, she would fit perfectly. She's a faun, or a satyr, the half-goat people. She runs a casino. She's, like, very boss lady. Tenebris was supposed to tie in with her story, and I never really fleshed out Tenebris more than I did. I worked on her character sheet for, like, one day, and that was it. And I still have her in the back of my mind, and she's still there. The most recent addition to my D&D character list is actually a character that I've played with, and his name is Glibbengorp. Glibbengorp is a Muppet-born, which is a D&D race that was made up. I forget what the Reddit user's name is, but you can find the race, like, pamphlet on Reddit. And it is literally, you're playing as a Muppet. You can't see his whole under, like, his feet or anything. He's like, constantly, there's something in the way of that. He's a wizard. He's an urchin. He was an orphan. His parents died. He has a mouse named Murder. I played as this character for my parents' D&D group. My family's D&D group. And I was hoarse afterwards because his voice is akin to, you know when Kermit the Frog screams? It's that constantly. So all during this D&D campaign, the night we were doing it, I was screaming. He's obsessed with casting, what is that? I forget what the spell is, but he shoots fire from his hands. He loves that. He does it constantly. Yeah, so he's my new obsession. I love this character. I love playing this character. I think this character is ridiculous in almost every sense, and I adore him. I love he's chaotic good. And he's insane, and I love him. Glibbengorp is everything to me. So yeah, that's just been my experiences. Just a little Dungeons and Dragons rant for you. Like I said, I grew up thinking Dungeons and Dragons was this evil thing. And it's what I've been told, and at the time, like, I was, like, 9 or 10 when I first heard about Dungeons and Dragons. I don't think, unless you specifically have a child-only party and an adult who's supervising, you shouldn't really be playing D&D at that age. Like, with a mixed group. I really think age is, like, a big thing with D&D. You can totally play, like, a younger version of D&D with kids. It's just you'd have to adapt some things and make some things work. I think playing it as an adult is better because the more it can get pretty complicated, and some people some children would have a real hard struggle with that. But now, like, as an adult, playing D&D is just a lot of fun, and it's a lot of goofing off, puzzle solving, or at least pretending we know how to solve puzzles, things like that. I think it's a lot of fun. Lots and lots and lots of fun. So yeah, that's my experiences with D&D. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm not going to give a shameless promotion this time. By the time this video comes out, I don't know what commissions are open, because I'm doing my commissions different. I'm going to start taking away things monthly and added things monthly. It's a whole thing. So just go check out my Ko-Fi. I guess that's the promotion. But thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all stay safe, drink some water, remember to breathe, and I will see you in the next video.